From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling the same. And man, fun weekend this weekend in the NFL. There was a lot of great moments that happened, and it's just week one for you. Always going to be a little chaotic, and I would say this is just like the first game of a playoff, first game of any start of any sport. That it's only week one, and you know what? This has no bearing on the rest of the season because a lot of times you have people, teams start off 1-0, they could lose the next 15. Or you could have a team lose the first game of the season, they win the next 15. So, you never know in the NFL, and it's always a crazy thing. But let's start off the show with something that was a little surprising yesterday with the USC Trojans. Yesterday, they fired their coach, Clay Helton, and a lot of people wanted Clay Helton out about 2 years ago. I even said 2 years ago when I was doing one of my platforms back in the day that, hey, you know what? This guy is going to be out very soon. USC should pick up a brand new coach, and it could be somebody who's a big name like Urban Meyer or somebody from the NFL, and it seemed like it was going to happen. And then Mike Bond and the president of USC were hired, and they said, you know what? We like this guy. This guy, he won a Rose Bowl. He won a Pac-12 championship. And you know what? Football is not like our biggest priority right now. We're trying to fix other things around the school and around the athletic program and things of that nature because of, dealings, USC's always in some type of trouble or something like that with the NCAA. But at the end of the day, though, he seemed like a safe coach. And you know what? I kind of was in my own right. I was kind of getting used to the guy, and I thought that, hey, maybe they're going to let him build the program up and build it up into a more positive image that, they want to go ahead and project to the rest of the nation and everything like that. But, pretty much the fans have barked enough and whined enough to the point to where that now USC has moved on from Clay Helton after the second game of the season. But let me drop some real facts on you. USC hasn't been able to beat Stanford consistently in years. Everybody should know that. Even when Pete Carroll was here, he had him and Harbaugh having their whole rivalry and everything like that. And pretty much both guys moved on to the NFL as well, too, and became rivals in the NFC West with Carroll taking over the Seahawks and Harbaugh taking over the 49ers. But all in all, though, you have to be realistic with yourself that, Stanford has been a better school than USC over the last decade when it comes to winning. They're not having a great year this year, but them beating them the way that they did was no surprise to me. And I was telling myself the whole week, how can you let USC be a 17-point favorite over Stanford in one of their, top rivalry games? So it just didn't make any sense at the end of the day. So Clay Helton being fired, I think, is a little bit premature on USC's end. I think that USC is trying to get back to yesteryear, and they feel like that they're a top-tier program still when they're not. They're not even getting the best players from the state of California anymore. That's where USC used to have their calling card at. And, UCLA is still doing it, but they're not getting the guys who are All-Americans or anything like that. But they're the guys that are pretty up and down the board when it comes to state all-stars and things of that nature. And, USC used to snatch these guys up and then get the top player in the state as well, too. And it's just not happening anymore. And I think that this was an ego fire in a sense that USC has said, okay, enough is enough. We're getting tired of not being, the creme de la creme of the Pac-12 and of the West Coast. And you know what? At the end of the day, this should have been, you should have looked at the situation 2 years ago when I said that maybe you guys need to move on from this coach because he's just not the coach. Now everybody's so happy that he got fired. And I said that that's just not fair for a man who really has put up with a whole lot from the media, from the fans, from alumni, all that good stuff. And you know what? He consistently kept, throwing a good product out there. But at USC, they play for national championships. I just think that you don't fire a coach the second game of the season because he gets his butt handed to him by an arch rival. It is what it is at the end of the day. USC has to understand that this team right here, this season right here, is not built up for them to be a top team in the nation. Now, I know you look on the other side, you see UCLA, number 13 in the nation. They're looking really good the first 2 weeks of the season, blase. But that's because they have Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly dominated the Pac-12 at one point in his coaching career, and that's where he was able to get all his other jobs in his coaching career as well, too. Now he has all the guys that he, recruited and not with the prior group recruited. So now he's playing chip ball. And so it's a different story over at UCLA. They built the thing up. They had patience because they paid him a whole lot of money. USC played it cheap and had Helton, a guy who was more like a babysitter in a sense over the years, but he was a good one as well, too. He was much better than the two guys that preceded him. And I know that still there's people at USC mad that Eddie O didn't get hired, but Eddie O is not. Eddie O showed that his coaching skills are not top tier especially in the UCLA game. He's a guy that inherits a great amount of talent. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. When you got uber talent and you got uber coaches to coach them up, the head coach always looks really good. So, that's what you get in that situation. But Helton seemed to be a safe guy. You know what I mean? And I think that all in all, I know a lot of people probably won't commend him at the end of the day, but he held things together over at USC. They still were able to produce NFL players at USC, and that's why guys go to USC. And I think that, Helton does still need to be applauded. It's not like the program went all the way down into the dumps. The program still had expectations. It still had a lot of things going on. And sometimes – the coaches get all the blame, but sometimes the players got to be accountable as well, too. And I think that he limited having the bad boys that you usually have on USC. I don't like to call them that, but there's guys that just do extra stuff outside of playing football. So pretty much those guys used to be big contributors to USC. Those guys aren't around anymore. So, pretty much it's a new day. And USC has to recruit a little bit differently, and they need to keep things a little bit more local. You know what I mean? They went way too national. They're trying to get every top player from every state and things of that nature instead of just staying at home and getting the best of the best here and then enticing these back east guys, these guys from Texas, these guys from Florida to come to Southern California and come play for the men of Troy. So there it is. That's my 2 cents on USC firing Clay Helton. They're bringing in a pretty decent assistant to be the interim coach for now. I will say now he will probably not be a coach that they'll retain because they want a name, and we'll see. Hopefully they'll avoid people like Jeff Fisher, though. So it is what it is. I say that because Jeff Fisher did go to USC as well, too. So hopefully, USC gets it all together and everything like that. If they're going to be, I don't know. They might be designating themselves for a bad season this season. That's why they're going to get rid of Helton because they don't see the team being that good this year as well. So, hey, it is what it is. And we move on. All right. So that was fun to talk about. But all in all, though, the best thing that happened to start the week off, though, already, though, is the Raiders getting themselves a monster win last night in what they call now the Death Star. I don't like to just say what the name of the stadium really is, because that airline probably is not going to be in business in the next few years. So pretty much, and I think it only flies out of Vegas as well too. That's crazy. So we don't have it in LA. I know that for sure. All right, so all right, last night Raiders big time. If you didn't see it, here it goes right here. I got the clip for you guys.
Can't lose any yards here. Gonna throw. Drake picked up the pressure. All alone is Zay Jones, and he will prance into the end zone for the touchdown and the victory in overtime for the Raiders. And this celebration is for real. What a way to end it. Here's Zay Jones right here. We're thinking they're going to run the ball. There's no safety back here. They got Marlon Humphrey. Watch him get rubbed. Derek Carr's just going to retreat, full retreat, and throw this ball as far as he can. Marlon Humphrey was not expecting that. He was expecting a run for 5 yards. And John Gruden, Derek Carr, and Zay Jones went for the jugular, and they sealed it.
Yeah, he's had an answer for every one of their man coverage principles. Whenever he gets in 3-by-1 or 2-by-2 and gets into stack alignments, bunch alignments.
All right, so there it is. The Raiders go ahead and they get themselves a good win last night, 33-27. They played pretty good football in the second half, but there was still the Raider bonehead mistakes that they've been making for, I don't know, since they entered the NFL. So pretty much the Raiders do get the good win last night, but you take away a lot of things last night. You tell yourself that the Raiders, if they make those mistakes consistently in games down the road, they're going to be like 4-13 this year. They need to really, really, really bear down a little bit, but they finally got it from all phases of the game. The defense was really huge last night, and I think that the home crowd played a big part in the defense being so pumped up last night, being so ready to play. And that was awesome to have all the fans there and to have that moment in that scene. And then Carl Naisbitt, who made some history this year, but I wouldn't call it history. It's just the sign of the times and everything like that. But he came through huge on two big sacks last night as well too. But I thought the player of the night was Max Crosby, number 98. He was absolutely incredible last night. He was really a big problem for his matchup, a guy who's a pretty good tackle as well, too, in Villanueva. But you know what? He had no shot against old Maxie last night. Maxie was really getting home. All he was doing was just getting off the ball, doing a nice little spin move, and next thing you know, he's at Lamar Jackson. He's running around a little bit. But you know what? He was getting a little beat up last night. You could see that as well, too. And I think that's what came down to some of those crucial mental lapses as well. And also, Derek Carr, a guy that a lot of people have a lot to say about. Derek Carr, to me, had a pretty good game last night. And I think that a lot of us have to respect the fact that, Derek Carr is a guy that, is the Raiders quarterback for now. He's a guy that's been the Raiders quarterback for over almost a decade now. And a lot of people have to understand that, he's pretty much used to being the leader of this team. He wants to get himself some big wins and everything like that, going down the road and everything. It's all about winning with him. But I did see a guy who's still very timid. And I think that quite possibly that, he might be singling out just one guy a little bit too much, and that was Darren Waller. Even though Waller had a hell of a game last night, but when do you see tight ends getting 19 targets in a game? It's almost like, are the receivers not able to get open, or is he just that comfortable with just that one player? That has to be corrected like ASAP. They're going into Pittsburgh this week. They're going to have to be very deceptive this week going into the Pittsburgh game. So that's why I say to myself that this was a great win for the Raiders last night. The Ravens kind of, they played very well, but I feel like the Ravens kind of got a little comfortable last night. The Raiders got a big turnover last night, and that's where the game kind of flipped at as well, too. So, at the end of the day, we all were very, very, very entertained. And pretty much this winds up being pretty much the game of the week. We had a great game in the afternoon yesterday. We had a blowout for Sunday Night Football, but then we have another great game on Monday Night Football with literally all eyes watching as well, too. So pretty much it is what it is at the end of the day. Hell of a game for the Raiders, and they get the walk-off in the Death Star to open it up in front of fans, and that was a very, very fun sight to see last night. And, it's going to be some more big memories made over there at that stadium as well, too. Last night was the first big one, though. That's going into the Raiders, all-time games, all that good stuff. So it was a good game. It was a good production as well, too. ABC and ESPN did a hell of a job, presenting the game to you as well. And you know what? Shout out to that awesome Monday Night Football crew that broadcasted the game as well, too. You got all types of different elements talking during that situation. They all were on point with the game as well, too, because, we've been having some real bad Monday Night Football crews ever since Mike Tirico left. So it is what it is at the end of the day. We move forward and we talk about that. Both AFC, NFC West both are 1-0 this week. That's crazy because the thing is, you would have expected one of them to lose, but none of them lost this week. You had Arizona having a monster dominant win over the Titans. A lot of people, like myself, thought the Titans would be able to handle that game. You had Seattle, the machine, still moving forward. San Francisco is very dominant against a lowly Lions team, a team that's probably going to be drafting either first or second next season. And not next season, but in April when it's time for the draft. And then you had a pretty good showing from Rams who did exactly what I expected them to do. Blow out the Bears, have a big, big moment at the new stadium at SoFi. Literally, the whole LA was at the game as well, too, because everybody wanted to be there for opening night and the Sunday Night Football game. And I'm like, well, we better get used to it. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be like this every single week. And every single time they have a huge game as well, too. So they did pretty good. And then the Chiefs, and, I ain't hating or nothing, but, they got lucky. You know what I mean? That was a kind of Browns. It was more about the Browns losing than them winning. And then you had the Chargers who to me probably got the upset of the group this week, because I really did feel like Washington was going to beat them by a few points, but they were able to win that single possession game. They were able to play some good defense against a team that's going to be a little bit handcuffed because their quarterback situation this season as well. And they were able to knock out Fitzpatrick at the right time of the game to really pretty much go ahead and move forward and win that game. But Herbert had a lot of juice to him there and was able to lead that team to the victory as well, too. And then, who was very impressive, and nobody's probably going to talk about it, the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos and, Bridgewater was very, very good for them as well, too. He's able to move that ball. Melvin Gordon was able to get a big-time run for a touchdown as well, too, that literally broke the Giants' back as well. So, they had a tremendous, tremendous game. And I didn't hear enough about it. That's the whole thing. You heard about everybody else, but they walked into Jersey, into MetLife, and I know the Giants aren't going to be that good this season, but still, that was a game that was kind of even when you looked at it on paper, but the Broncos kind of made sure that, they showed that they're a much, much better team, and that they're not really a bottom rung team this season. So both these divisions is, from what I'm just looking at right now, are wide open. I don't think anybody should be guaranteeing and locking anybody in to win either one of these divisions as of yet. We'll see how things look in the next 8 weeks or so. But I saw some pretty good teams. I saw 8 really good teams in this group. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. With that, we'll be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I will be right back at you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? We are back, and it is time to talk about the Dodgers. Last night, Clay Kershaw, future Hall of Famer, multiple Cy Young Award winner, former MVP, was able to have himself a very good game last night and come back in some style last night. Exactly what the Dodgers needed. Dodgers won the game 5-1 last night as well, too. But you know what? No good on the other end because the Giants won their game 8-1. And I've already said it, that, I'm not going to keep repeating the same thing. At the end of the day, it is what it is. The Giants have had a great season, and that's good for them. The Dodgers 2.5 games back. They're still kind of eating at that lead, and it's all about where you're at the last day of the season. So the Dodgers were able to get that good win last night. They keep winning. San Francisco is just winning a lot, though. They are out of their minds right now, to be honest with you, man. They are killing it. The Dodgers, winners of their last 4 in a row as well, too. They were able to sweep San Diego this weekend. That was a huge, it was huge, beating them this weekend. Pretty much that's putting San Diego in a bad spot, too, because now St. Louis is in the picture now. And, that's what I was trying to tell my man last week, that St. Louis isn't all the way out of it yet, sir. It is what it is. And last night, you had Kershaw in the game. Let's see what Kershaw stats look like. Kershaw was good. He went 4.1 innings last night. He had 5 Ks. He only gave up 1 run as well, too. So, he didn't get the win last night. Bigford got the win. The Dodgers used 5 pitchers last night as well, too. They didn't really, but the Dodgers did right about Kershaw. They didn't need to see much. They've already seen enough with him throughout the years. And since he didn't go over 5 innings, he didn't get the win. So pretty much you give the win to the guy who came in after him as well. So the Dodgers looked out for Clayton. Clayton gave up a run early in the game, but that was it was an error by Bellinger as well, too. So pretty much that was the first run scored. But right after that, the Dodgers went ahead and took care of him, got 3 runs in, and pretty much took care of the rest of the night. The Dodgers pitching was exceptional last night, and they didn't really budge last night at all. They gave 6 hits, but still they were really good. You know what I mean? So pretty much the Dodgers getting themselves a good win last night, win the game 5-1. Kershaw's back. You got Scherzer there now. You got Scherzer here, who's been absolutely incredible, who had himself a game on Sunday. So this is crazy seeing that you got these guys going back to back. And this is what I'm talking about. When you get to the playoffs, this is going to be absolutely crazy moving forward with the Dodgers and everything like that. So, hey, no time to frown, no time to say, oh, I don't know what's going to happen here and blah, 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 blah. The Dodgers are cruising right now. They're playing really good baseball, and it doesn't matter if it's going to be a playing game or the comforts of playing at the Ravine, in the playoff. It doesn't matter. The Dodgers is going to do what they do. Seriously. So, hey, there it is, and let's get into the games of the games of today. And we got some good games going on today as well. So this is a part of my six piece, as I like to always give you guys on a daily basis. So pretty much this is going to be a part of the MLB PrimeTime PK6. So let's look into these teams. And as you can see, we start off first with the Brewers and the Tigers. The Brewers coming into this game as a -200 favorite. You got the Tigers +170. Tigers have been really good against the National League this year as well, too. That's something that you have to note. You have Willie Peralta on the mound for the Tigers, and then you have Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Brewers. So you have the brothers Peralta going at each other. I don't think that they're related. So it's just crazy that you got Peralta on Peralta. So pretty much Freddie Peralta has had a great season, 172 over 54 walks, 2.69 ERA. Willie Peralta has had a decent year, 3.60 ERA. He keeps things down, but he doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He walks as many as he strikes out. So you got a Tigers team that's won their last 3 out of 5, but the Brewers are streaking right now. They've been excellent as of late. They've actually been able to win their last 5 in a row as well, too. So pretty much, you got a game tonight where a lot of people will probably be heavy on the Brewers run line tonight, but I think that the best play here is to play the under 9. I think that this will be somewhat of a pitcher's duel tonight, and these guys are going to be, going back and forth, and this is a interleague game as well, too. So these games are very unpredictable, and I think if you play over, I think that you might be a little overzealous tonight. I think that the under is the play tonight, but hey, you do what you like, but I still think the under is the best play here. Now we move on to the Yankees and the Orioles tonight. The Yanks coming into this one as a -350 favorite, and you know why? Because Garrett Cole's on the mound today, and then you're going against a Baltimore team that's doling out a guy in Alexander Wells who's 1-2, 7.15 ERA as well too, and 17 strikeouts over 11 walks and things like that. So this guy really, from what I'm seeing here, this guy has pitched 7 games. He hasn't went past 5 innings yet, and pretty much he's been pitching much better because they've been putting him in limited spots. But the thing is, though, pretty much it's the Yankees, and the Yankees are going for a playoff spot right now. So I really do feel like the over should be the play here in this spot, because the Orioles are just notorious right now for having games go over that they're involved in. I think about maybe 60 to 70% of their games have went over this year because they have some of the worst pitching in baseball. And then, they got some guys that can hit as well, too, and score runs as well, too. So, hey, it all works out at the end of the day, right? For over betters, right? So let's go ahead and get something that's been trending all year with the Orioles. So we move forward to our next spot, which is a good spot. We got the Rays and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are still nipping at the heels right now. That's why the Yankees have to be in pretty much playoff mode as we speak. Toronto actually has taken over the wild card lead as well, too. They're one game ahead of the Yankees and one game ahead of the Red Sox as well, too. Actually might be about a half a game ahead of the Red Sox. They have the same amount of wins, but the Red Sox have more losses. It's crazy because you have 63 losses for Toronto, 64 for the Yanks, 65 for Boston. And then you have Seattle, that's 2 games back, who has 66 losses, 78 wins on the season. So the wild card is actually going to come down to who stays the most consistent. And this would be absolutely nuts, even if it's a one-game situation, if the Seattle Mariners make the playoffs, because they overtaken the A's, who pretty much had a vice grip lead on that 2 spot for the whole season until about the last few weeks. And then, pretty much you got the Rays really literally running away with the division right now. They're 8 games ahead of Toronto as well, too. So this is really good baseball going on in the American League. And then when you look at the National League, everything is pretty much formful, as we like to say at the racetrack. Everything's in place to where who's going to be hit where and who's going to do what. And it just really kind of just looks like you already know what 4 teams are going to be a part of the actual playoff itself. And, but this thing right here, the American League this might get a little crazy right here, seriously. And we may get some upsets here in the divisional and in the championship series as well, too, because right now it's wide open. When I look at these 6 teams, these are 6 really good baseball teams. Even though somebody can't get in. And this is why I was like, the MLB did the smartest thing ever last year when they made 8 when they had 8 teams in each league in the playoffs. That was fun. I think the MLB needs to explore that once again as well, too. You know what I mean? Because that made for better theater as well. Because you had a Marlins team get a monster upset over the Cubs. Nobody saw that coming. And you also had an A's team that a lot of people felt that were going to lose to the White Sox that wound up beating them. So it's a lot of fun in this. And then the Astros made a great run, with everybody wanting to have them be put out like immediately. So, it is what it is, man. So pretty much we move forward and let's go ahead and talk about our next spot. But yeah, I'm so sorry though. Let me talk a little bit more about the game itself. Rays, Blue Jays, it's going to be good. You got some good pitching going on here. I think though that the way that the script goes, that the Rays should be the winner here. Rasmussen has been decent, but I think that they're going to be good tonight. I think that he's going to pitch well. I think that he's going to get some run support. So I like the plus money on the Rays tonight. Now we move forward and we got the Rockies at the Braves. The Rockies coming in here plus 135. Braves are minus 160. Braves are in a situation right now where they're trying to hold off teams as well too, but now they're up 4.5 games. They got some breathing room, and then the just embarrassment of seeing that the New York Mets, a team that was in the lead for 3 months, are now 5.5 games back, and really it's getting hopeless right now for the Yankees, to be honest with you. But Philadelphia was set up in a prime position, in my opinion, because they had a final weekend series with the Braves. They need some consistency, and they need to pray for some Braves losses as well, too. This team has lost their last 7 out of 10. The Phillies, while the Braves have won their last 6 out of 10. So you see the difference, and you see why this team has fallen behind. So, the Braves, they need this win tonight. Rockies have been playing their best baseball all year, the last 2 months or so. They've been playing much, much better than they did to start the season off. Even though they're still 12 games under 500, they still got some moral victories that they're catching every day as well, too. I think the Rockies keep this game close. They gave the Braves some issues when they came to Denver as well, too. I think that they have a good enough pitching situation tonight to make this somewhat of a game. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and back John Gray just a little bit. I'm not going to take them to win, but I will take the run line on them tonight because the run line is telling me that this is a good possibility that this team should show up and keep this game very close or possibly win. So if you like the plus 35 money line, don't hesitate to take it. All right, so we move on to our final – two of our final spots are late games. We got one with the A's and the Royals today. The A's and the Royals looking to two teams going in two different directions. The Royals been out this playoff thing for a few months now. They sending out Jackson Carr tonight as well, too, who gave up 6 runs in his last game. Also struck out 7 and went 6 innings that day as well, too. So that was probably his worst outing out of all the outings he's had. Going long, and it was against the Orioles as well, too. So you can't really take this pitcher seriously. It was, his last 2 outings were his longest outings. Before that, he was just coming in on spot stuff and was still getting hit pretty hard. So, right now, they're taking their sweet time. This is their first round pick from 2018 as well. You got a good build to him. It just takes time to become a pretty good pitcher in the MLB. You know what I mean? Some guys just aren't going to come in and be Clayton Kershaw and Jacob deGrom and all those great players. Sometimes it takes time, But the A's coming to this spot. Frankie Montes is on the mound. Frankie Montes has been good all season. 12-9 on the year, though. 3.57 ERA, 181 strikeouts, over 47 walks. So, what to expect with Frankie. Frankie should be able to mow down some hitters tonight as well, too. I do like the A's in this spot. I think the A's take care of business in this spot, and I think got them on the run line tonight to win this game by 2 or more runs. So we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how it goes, and we go from there. Now, I know I'm about to be – now I'm going to put on my yellow mask, my Homer Simpson face, and the Homer. And I'm not trying to be a Homer here, but I think this team is due with all the losses they've caught in a row and the way that they've lost these games as well, too. I'm going to go ahead and circle the Padres tonight in this spot to get this win. They got Jake Arrieta, old Wiley vet on the mound tonight. Who's not having the greatest year, his ERA isn't great. He's 5-12 on the season, but who Jay Arrieta was playing for earlier in the season as well, too. He was playing for the Cubs, and then he was playing for it just didn't matter. It just was bad on bad for Arrieta, a guy who was once a pretty good pitcher. Then you got Descafani, who's on the mound, who's 11-6 on the year, 3.33 ERA. I think that this will be an oversight and an over bet on San Francisco tonight because San Francisco has been playing so well lately. San Francisco has really been winning a lot. So pretty much they've won their last 8 in a row, and they've actually won their last 10 out of 12 games as well, too, to start this month. So, San Francisco is just red hot, and I think that tonight is the night that they get a little cooled off. So that's why I'm taking the Padres with the plus 145 as the dog of the day. All right, so for those who are just jumping into the show now, let's go ahead and look at Talkin Tickets, and the tickets is talking, and pretty much this is what it did. We will have this ticket right here is going to be a pretty nice ticket. This one is actually going to be about 70-1 here. We have ourselves the under with the Brewers and the Tigers tonight. Then we have the we also have the over 9.5 like I had before for us as well too. Then we have the Rays plus 120 money line tonight, so that should work out pretty good for us as well. And then the plus 1.5 on the Rockies, the minus 1.5 on the A's, and then we finish off the night, as I said before, with the Padres money line plus 145. So there it is. There it is. Should be a good night of betting and everything like that. We should have a lot of fun with it, and actually, for everybody information, the money line has moved up on the Padres as well too, to a plus 150. So there goes some big money on the board right there, and then it should be a good night right there. And then we got a 61-1 ticket as well too. So reason why you guys need to play this ticket too. Yesterday we hit a 50-1 pick six yesterday as well. So that was absolutely huge in a sense, for late in the year. So I've started you guys off with a pretty good week. If you put $20 on it, you made $1,000 last night. So hey, it is what it is. You guys let me know if you did win off of that. So then I can, brag with you a little bit. So it is what it is. But you guys don't hesitate to play that pick six tonight. The pick six is going to be 60-1. So you guys don't hesitate. It's a good ticket. I'm not going to say it's going to hit, but you know what? If it does hit, then that's pretty good for the start of the week. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, once again, the NFL Bet Exchange will be back on Thursday, and most likely I'll be at the studio for that one as well too. Talk to my people over there, so we should have some more fun. Don't worry, I'm gonna be still suited and booted and all that good stuff. But we have a good day of baseball going on. We got a WNBA game as well too, and so pretty much, man, it is what it is. You guys are the absolute best. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time at noon. Hopefully, we'll have my man Mike Abadir here with us. We're talking a little bit of Raiders moving forward and things like that. So, hey, you guys just keep tuning in, and the movement is moving. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. If you got a hunch, bet a bunch. And once again, I'm your boy, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production